because I'm with you through thick and thin. Whatever trouble you are in, I don't care whatever you do. Just know that I love you. Oh, oh, I love you.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back if you've been here before, or welcome to your very first, if this is your first time watching the Smokin Joe Show. I am Smokin Joe, your host. This is our 93rd episode. I just asked earlier what episode it was. 93, season 8 episode, or season 3 episode 8. Not that old yet. Our guest is Kat Fox. She is a multi-instrumentalist, multi-band wonder from Minneapolis as well as I. But we actually didn't really get to know each other very well at all until Livestream Cover Challenge took over my life earlier this year, and it's been wonderful to have her. She's a moderator and administrator in the group as well, and it's been a very fun experience to kind of get to know people through this virtual realm that we've created. Let's see, what have I been up to? I have been laying low, staying inside, playing a lot of guitar. I'm recording some guitar tracks and stuff for a hip-hop group called Flow State. They are a new band, and I'm helping them with a new EP, so that's cool stuff coming up. In Joe Land, last week we had Carnage the Executioner, and it was such a treat to have Carnage. Really great perspective. I love how John and Carnage are the exact same age, so they have a very similar history. It's been really great. We talked about healthy eating, the current civil rights movement, and toxic masculinity in music. Some topics we'll probably cover today as well. Today we continue that conversation with a discussion about creating safe spaces for all. Defining what that is and continuing to change as information comes in, I think, is key. But you know what else is key? If you're watching this live on the internet, please, please, please share this to your personal pages, to any groups that you think would enjoy this show tonight. Please share, because more people in the chat, the more fun it is to say hey, and it makes us feel good. But if you're watching in the future, please just smash that subscribe button, because on my YouTube page, Smokin Joe Music, I have lots more than the Smokin Joe Show. We have pretty much every live stream cover challenge I've ever done, as well as music videos I've made myself, one being the entirety of Whole New World from Aladdin, every part recorded and or sang by me, and we made a video of stuffed animals flying a magic carpet. Check it out sometime on my YouTube page. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Shadowwick Creations, our favorite sponsor in the world. Exclusive monthly Galactic Get Down candle collection. Each month features 3 unique candles inspired by Galactic Get Down. Buy a candle to show your support for the festival. More information on the Galactic Get Down candle collection and all the great products from Shadowwick. Check out their Etsy page at etsy.com/shop/Shadowwick Creations. Speaking of sponsorship opportunities, we have some available. Vicarious Visions and the Smokin Joe Show now have sponsorship opportunities available. If you or someone you know has a business that would like to support the local music scene through our unique brand of programming, please contact Vicarious Visions on Facebook today. With several productions like the Smokin Joe Show, Romer Dome Familia, and live concert series regularly, Vicarious Visions has unique opportunities for you to show your commitment to the local music and arts community. That is true. We will love to just throw your name up, during a segment, and just pimp your brand a little bit. Happy to do it. Speaking of pimping one's own brand, I have a Patreon, don't you know? A Smokin Joe Patreon. It's a wonderful place for me to just throw videos I've made, ideas I've had, sneak peek things. Honestly, it's been a little slow this season. A lot of times my idea was to give away tickets in there and, advance information on shows and things as they got booked and happened. But there hasn't been a lot of that. But at the same time, it will happen again, and they will be the first to know. So check out patreon.com/SmokinJoeMusic. And that brings us to our very first segment of today, this wonderful Thursday, July 2nd. It is Kind Jam Minnesota presents the Weekend Get Down. We're gonna stay up late. We're gonna hit the town. You dig? Pick your booty up. Oh yeah.
shake it all around. It's the Weekend Get Down.
Okay, yeah, Weekend Get Down. That little theme song I wrote myself here in quarantine after I think after 2 years of saying over and over that I was going to do this. I finally did it. I did it thanks to John and his extra streaming equipment. I just got his like hand-me-downs, which are still some of the best streaming gear that I've seen anyone have. So I appreciate that, John. Let's see what's happening Friday. The Ragged Trio on the patio. That is tomorrow night at Tuttle's Eat Bowl Play from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it sounds like we got the Ragged Roots Trio, which I assume is Will and Dimitri. And I don't know who would make the trio. Well, you got to be there to find out. Please join us on the patio to help kick off Independence Day weekend. Reservations required with limited patio space. All caps. Reservations required. No cover, as always. Hats and sunglasses encouraged so you don't burn your face off, because it sounds like it'll be sunny. Also, Friday night, the Fandango Summer Outdoor Music Series. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. all the way till 8 p.m. 2 solid hours of live music. Head to Keg and Case every Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. this summer for a socially distanced live music series. Fandango Summer presented by Forest to Fork and Noble Production, or Noble Presents. And for those of you who might not know, Noble Presents is the minds behind the Hook and Ladder, and supporting them is super important right now. They're in the middle of the chaos, or the beautiful chaos that erupted in our city a month ago. Listen to live outdoor music as you enjoy tasty food, craft beer, and your favorite Keg and Case vendors popped up throughout our expansive, physically distanced patio and park. This exciting lineup welcomes a diverse group of local musicians to our Fandango Summer. Tomorrow night, they have Jeff Ray and the Hurricane Herald. No, not the Hurricane Herald. I think it's two people, Jeff Ray and Hurricane Herald. Friday. Oh, let's see. This is just over the river. I saw an ad about this. Independence Day weekend goulash at Hop and Barrel tomorrow from 5 to 8 p.m. Hop and Barrel Brewing. They're kicking off Independence Day weekend with some live music. Catch goulash in their parking lot on Friday, July 3rd from 5 to 8. They'll slip some beer, listen to some tunes, ... It's going to be awesome. So you heard it here first. It's going to be awesome. Lots of brewery fun times tomorrow. Happening Saturday. We didn't put in details, but there are lots of activist gatherings or protests, different things to engage in Minneapolis, and I'm sure all across the country that we support people going. We're not going to list them all individually because we are a music show, but hey, make that your Saturday. And we'll move right on to Sunday. Grateful Sunday, number 472, Shotgun Ragtime Band, and Super Duty. This sounds familiar. It's because they do this every week. Driftwood Char Bar from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., where the Minnesota Dead Freaks unite. Where are they? Everywhere. Who are they? Everyone. How are they? I don't know. Probably pretty good, man. Join them for Grateful Sundays at Driftwood Char Bar with Shotgun Ragtime Band and Super Duty. Super Duty starts at 5. Shotgun Ragtime Band at 7. Reservations are required since seating is always limited in this day and age. The back and front patio are open and do not require a reservation. Moving right along, at the end of this month, I know the suspension is real because we're trying to do really cool stuff that we don't have confirmed yet, but the Galactic Get Down Virtual Festival is happening no matter what. Multiple virtual stages all combined into one live feed because things look a little dicey on Earth this summer, at least when it comes to putting on an outdoor music festival, what with the pandemic and so just madness happening. So the Galactic Get Down is going virtual for our 5th year in 2020, featuring live music, live art, live fire performance, virtual shakedown street, and real-time community interaction. More announcements coming as soon as we possibly can. We were hoping to have announcements today, but hey, maybe tomorrow. Livestream cover challenge. Hey, if you haven't heard about it, then you haven't been talking to me lately, because with so many people streaming, I had an idea back in March to challenge a bunch of my friends to stream covers online. The guidelines are really easy. Challenge an artist to play a song. That artist has 24 hours to learn the song. Once the artist learns the song, they go live in the group and perform it and challenge another artist. That was the idyllic dream of a boy in March. And it has grown into something much larger than this. People kind of come in and play the covers as they so choose. The challenges are often limited these days, but I always challenge people to challenge people more. You can check out our .com, livestreamcoverchallenge.com is up and running with Livestream Cover Challenge merchandise available, t-shirts and tank tops. I have one of each, and they are both very comfortable and stylish. That's about it for the weekend get down, the weekend stay in, the weekend, whatever everybody's doing with their weekend. I personally am not going to be doing much this weekend, not going to be celebrating necessarily. I might be, just doing something a little bit more productive than most years. But let's see, our first music video of the day is from a Livestream Cover Challenge artist that I personally love. I fell in love with her style and her energy and all this, that she just emotes and everything she does. And this is a original song by her. Her name is Sophia Landis, and the song is called Life Lies Ahead, an original that she played in Livestream Cover Challenge. Check it out. Oh, are we here? We're live? Nice. Hello. Welcome back. That was Sophia Landis, one of my favorite contributors to Livestream Cover Challenge ever. I'm also joined by someone who started as a contributor in Livestream Cover Challenge and just took over, and as far as I was concerned, and was invited to join the admin team. Cat Fox, Catherine Hansberry.
Hi, everybody.
How are you doing?
I've never been better in my entire life. This is really
yeah, this is the the peak.
This is the summit.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all downhill from here. Like I was on, yeah, it's like Letterman, but really local, really local.
The top of my game, God.
Yeah. And so thanks for everybody for hanging out. There's I wanted to answer a question in the chat real quick about if we're able to speak about Nako. We sure are able to talk about all of these most recent calling outs and canceling of artists that have happened. We talked a bit about Prof last week, and we'll kind of dive into that. But first, we're gonna play a game because that's a really good way to just break the ice and get to know our guests a little better. And the game we have here, we're playing with John and Kat. We have Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. The pants are on fire. So this is our game that we, kind of adapted from Two Truths and a Lie. We have each come up with previously, I hope everyone has previously come up with a statement about ourselves that is absolutely true, hopefully hard to believe, but true. And then a statement about ourselves that is absolutely not true. And it could only be slightly not true. It could be completely false entirely. But either way, you're going to have to be a good liar or get the truth, because you're going to have to defend your statement for 60 seconds while you are grilled by the other players. So, how do we pick it in virtual land, John? How do you feel?
Well, I guess I was going to suggest that I should go first because I barely ever get to play games on the show. Yeah,
dude, you can call it. This is our producer John. I don't know if anybody's seen him pop up occasionally in the show, but he's always here. He's always here. but so yeah. So do we pick like which one it is? Like, do you have them numbered? Like, how do we? Normally we just draw it, but we can't draw virtually.
Yeah. So I just figured we just go with some verbal just statements, I guess. So I wrote mine down up on my board up here. But so my two statements.
Okay. Oh yeah. So just say them both. We'll just say them both.
Yeah. The first one, Mike Gordon almost ran me over in a golf cart. Mike Gordon is the bass player of Fish, for people who didn't know that.
I have learned that over the years.
My other statement is that a porcupine almost shot me with quills on a camping trip.
So both possible injuries, not fatal injuries, but definitely injurious. All right. So do we have a seconds clock going?
Yeah. I will get a timer started, and
we'll ask now. See, Kat. Now you and I have to ask him questions to figure out which one's true and which one is not true.
Got it. Gotcha.
So if you guys are both ready, I'll go ahead and start the timer now.
All right. My first question is, where were you almost run over by Mike Gordon in a golf cart? Like, what event? Where was it?
That was at Lemon Wheel back in 1998.
Where was the porcupine?
That was at Camp Crow-Wing, which was probably in like 1984 or 5. I was in Boy Scouts.
So you were a kid with the porcupine stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 30.
So this lemon pop fest or whatever it was this like just a Fish show, or was it like a whole big festival? And who else played?
It was a Fish festival, so Fish played for like 3 days.
Yeah, lemon does go well with Fish, as it were.
How long were you a Boy Scout?
Like 2.5 years.
So you're like a Cub Scout? Or...
Well, I didn't do much while I was there except go camping. That's
I was also a Boy Scout.
Guys.
2 seconds?
That was your 60 seconds.
Oh, that was it? Okay. I know what I think, but I want to hear what Kat thinks first.
I think you're lying about the porcupine.
I also think he's lying about the porcupine. But I think that he's telling the truth about getting run over by Mike Gordon.
You guys are right. I was lying about the porcupine. I didn't almost get shot by a porcupine, but another Boy Scout in our troop did. So
Yeah, that's
Stealing stories from Boy
well,
Scouts.
I mean that's tis the way the game tends to work around here.
dude. One of my favorite. The first times we played this game, I used one of my best friend growing up, Tim Sheets. I used his story about how he cracked his head like right down the center on an airplane, like a part of an airplane, like it was the elevator, like hanging down. And I had to get stapled up, and I knew the story so intimately that I could totally lie it, and it wasn't my story. So I loved that. It's a good way to play. All right. So I guess since Kat, you were right, you get to pick. Do you want to go with your truth lies first, or would you like me to go now?
I'm gonna go for it.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay, so I cracked my head open on an airplane. I'm just kidding. No, that's not it.
That's Tim's story.
Okay, one time I ate 90 shrimp in a row.
90 shrimp. Okay, I have lots of questions, but let's see the next one.
Okay, and then my other thing, I love flightless birds.
You love what? White? What?
Flightless
birds.
that can't
Ooh.
fly.
I also, my favorite bird is a flightless bird. But let's start these questions. John, you ready?
All right, let's start the timer. You can go ahead and start, Joe. You can start now.
Okay, so these shrimp, like cocktail shrimp, like in a ring, like what kind of shrimp are these?
It was like like a Red Lobster environment, so like a variety of shrimp.
Okay, so it was like 90. So how much of them were popcorn shrimps? My question, because that is 90 popcorn shrimp versus 90 like cocktail shrimp is way different.
When you're going for quantity, you don't get the breading. You have to go.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that would fill you up.
Zero.
That's true.
For popcorn.
Who
Maybe
paid for these shrimp?
I did.
Oh, it was probably an
financially and physically and emotionally.
You paid for them and you paid the price for them. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so moving on to the birds. Favorite flightless bird, I guess. Penguins. You know how many different kinds of penguins there are?
A lot, but I like the Madagascar penguins the most because they're like warm weather penguins. Or like
they are, yeah. More so than other ones.
Penguins.
Yeah, my favorite penguins are the fairy penguins, and they're in like southern New Zealand and Australia, and they behave a lot like squirrels. They like dig under stuff.
That's 60 seconds.
All right.
I just gotta say,
we could talk about penguins for a long time.
Birds aren't real. I thought birds were not real. I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, there's like some sort of really hardcore, military installation in Antarctica that needs a lot of surveillance because there are a fuckload of birds around something that seemingly is not as important. Like, what are those penguins doing? Yeah, the secret agent. They dress. The king and emperor penguins are dressed more like secret agents than any other bird.
Yeah,
I would say. Okay, John, what do you think?
I was gonna say the flightless birds thing, but then you knew more about
at least 3 or 4 different not mainstream species of penguin, which to me
I'm still going with flightless birds just because that
is a lie.
Seems a little vague, I guess. I don't know.
The 90s shrimp. I'm gonna say the 90s shrimp is a lie, and that the birds is true.
You're both want to use right.
Yeah. What's wrong?
You're both not right at the same time. I hate birds. I fucking hate birds. I hate everything about them. I think they're stupid, worthless animals.
But they're dinosaurs
Especially the ones that can't fly. Stupid birds. We don't need them. They're not even real.
All right, so we got a bird hater on the show.
But I did eat 90 shrimp once.
See, but I mean, how big were the shrimp is my question.
They're shrimpy.
They're not big. They're called shrimp. They're not jumbo shrimp.
Idiot.
Wouldn't jumbo shrimp just be regular shrimp?
Yeah.
Or just call it regular size, whatever.
Little shrimpos.
Oxymoron.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one contender left, and that contender is me.
Go ahead.
All right, so here we go. One of my statements is, I once played an entire set at a bar/saloon for a dog and only a dog. Like, not at a house, like at a bar where we set up and played for just a dog and only a dog. And then my other statement is that I've seen Radiohead 10 times, every tour they've made it to the States since I was 13. And those are the statements. Now you have to ask me questions.
Okay.
Whenever John says the
I have a
timer starts.
question.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about that a little bit too hard there for a second because I don't want to trick myself all of a sudden here. Kat, go ahead and start off the questions. You can start now.
What kind of dog was it?
You know, I don't know dog breeds very well, but it was like a medium-sized dog, and it had curly-ish hair, and it was, I don't know, friendly. I have no idea what kind of dog it was.
What was his name?
I don't remember what his name was.
What color was he?
Like light brown, kind of like lighter than my hair, brown.
Let's just keep asking about the dog.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, I guess I was kind of busy playing the show, so I didn't stare down the dog. And if you were to ask the other members of the band, they're more dog people, they might know what kind of dog, or remember the dog's name, but I can't remember people names, let alone people's pets names.
Who let was like there were no people? Were there employees there? Was it?
The rooms were separated, so there's like a room with the bar and a room with like the venue, and like it was nice out, so all the doors were open, and then the only living creature inside of the room watching us play an entire set for an hour was a dog.
Okay.
There was no bartender. It was a bartender.
It was yeah.
Okay, that's obviously our 60 seconds. I don't know if you know how huge of a Radiohead fan Joe is, but Joe's a huge Radiohead fan, so I feel like he's just trying to trick me by throwing this question in there all together.
Well, yeah.
So,
once I realized you were playing, I had to step up my game pretty hard.
Yeah. So please give us your thoughts first.
Well, you know, from what I know about Joe, I don't think he's a big enough monster to lie about it. I don't think you have it in you to lie about a doggo. Maybe, I don't know. I've been fooled before.
That's a funny reasoning. But I love it a lot. All right, so Kat says that the dog is true and that I have not seen Radiohead 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thought is that you've seen Radiohead maybe like 12 times and you're underestimating your story to mess with me. So I think that the dog is real and your Radiohead story is
all right.
fake.
I love that you completely ignored one of them and just wanted to talk about the dog, because that is absolutely true. I can tell you where it was in Livingston, Montana.
Like, I don't remember anything about the dog though.
No, I mean the dog like the you know, I've seen a lot of dogs on tours. I mean, I have like this general like dog I see on tour like in my brain, but like it was really funny because they booked our band and we were playing in Billings and we were playing in Missoula, and just because we were just kind of routing through, they booked us at this like honky tonk bar, this like bar that was known for country music and bluegrass music, and Dead Larry walks in like to play, you know, spacey alternative rock where we scream a lot and it's very distorted. And it was very funny, and the dog loved it, and the people on the other side in the other room did not love it. They did not come over and watch it, but this person's dog did watch the entire show. We played 3 sets, and that was another thing about the show. The dog didn't watch the entire show, but he watched our entire second set.
Have you thought about making merch for dogs, like dog shirts?
I feel like you could do like kids or dogs shirts, right? You know, like if your dog for your kids or your it's like this similar sizes. I feel like tiny shirts are definitely a thing I should make.
It's like a whole new
dog
demographic.
shirts.
Galactic Cat Dog, Wet Dog,
Galactic Good Dog, Galactic
Went
Wet
Dog.
Went.
That would be a yeah. If we needed to move the N from dong to we go Went Dog or Newt Dog.
Newt Dog.
Newt Dog.
Need a dog.
Oh yeah, that's one thing we're gonna miss this year is you know, playing with the sign. You know, I know how much I love it.
It's a good sign.
Man. Oh, the sign.
I
Oh, the
suppose
sign.
I suppose I could make some like digital get down letters and rearrange
You know?
them on the screen every now
Just-
and then.
Yeah, just like we'll just make a post like 2 weeks before and be like, all right, now's your time. Study these 2 words, and we want to see the best anagrams you got, and then we'll make them and put them live on the air. So that's a thing now. We decided just now. Okay, well, that was our Liar Liar Pants on Fire. I feel like we all did extremely well, except I totally thought that Kat liked birds way more than she does. She does not like
Fuck birds.
birds. Not a
Are
fan
you in the
of
birds are not real group?
Yeah, philosophically.
I mean, no, but
He's
like,
yeah.
I will invite you to the group because it's like the best. It's like the only
Well,
group that I
that's-
love more than Livestream Cover Challenge is Birds Are Not Real.
That's why we're quarantined, is they had to change all the batteries.
Oh man, that's a lot of batteries.
That has been.
Yeah,
a
that's why we have
discussion.
to stay inside for so long.
What do you think the sponsor battery of the bird machine is? Energizer, Duracell?
No, that's bunnies. Energizer.
Yeah, I know,
bunnies.
but I mean, if birds aren't real, are rabbits real? Are bunnies real? They're pretty weird too, man. They have a lot of similar characteristics to birds. They're very flighty. Anyway, we're gonna go to our second video of the day, which is Kat Fox and her song, and the song "Added Up." I don't know. Is this from Livestream Cover Challenge? This is a separate. This is from the
This
from
is
the
from
golden
Livestream Cover
the
Challenge.
golden age of the cover challenge.
Yeah.
Nice. That sweet
Glory days.
Yeah, sweet March and April time. Thought everything was so hard. I'm happier now anyway. All right, so this is Kat Fox with Added Up.
Hi guys. Hey folks. Hey comrades. How's your apocalypse going? Real good? Okay. Tara Grimmer nominated me to play the Violent Femme, so that's what I'm gonna do. Day after day, I will work and I will play, but the day is in my sight when I take a bow and say goodnight. Why can't I get just one kiss? Why can't I get just one kiss? Believe me, it's something that I wouldn't miss. But I look at your pants and I need a kiss. Why can't I get just one screw? Why can't I get just one screw? Believe me, I know what to do, but something won't let me make love to you. Why can't I get just one fuck? Why can't I get just one fuck? Guess it's got something to do with luck, but I waited my whole life for just one. Day after day, I get angry. I will say that the day is in my sight when I take a bow and say goodnight. Mo, my mama, 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 kept your eye on your son. Know you have problems, you're not the only one. But when your sugar left, you left him on the run. Mo, my mama, mama, mo, my mom. Take a look now what your boy has done. He's walking around like he's number one. He went downtown and he got him a gun. So don't shoot, shoot, shoot that thing at me. Don't shoot, shoot, shoot that thing at me. You know you got my sympathy, but don't shoot, shoot, shoot that thing at me. Broken down kitchen at the top of the stairs. Can I mix in with your affairs? Share a smoke, make a joke. grasping, reach for a leg of hope. Words memorized, words hypnotized, words make my mouth exercise. Words all fail the magic prize. Nothing I can say when I'm in your thighs. Moon, my mama, mama, moon, my mother. I would love to love you, lover. City is restless, it's ready to pounce and go here in your bedroom, ounce for ounce. Giving you decision to make, things to lose, things to take. Just about ready to cut it up. She said, wait a minute, hon, I gotta add it up. I'm gonna add it up, add it up, I'm gonna add it up. See what you got, you gotta add it up, add it up, add it up, add it up, day after day. I get angry, I will say that the day is in my sight. When I take a bow, say goodnight. Bye.
Mics are live, and we are back live here from space. I am coming in from the deepest regions of your mind and the outer space. Joining me here is Catherine Hansberry, also known as Cat Fox. And I have lots of questions, and I start all my interviews off the same. We go back in time to when you were a young musician, or even beforehand. My favorite questions are: where did you grow up? What was it like there? Did you like it there? And then who first got you into playing music?
Well, I grew up just up the road there in Sandstone, Minnesota.
Oh, pert near Sandstone area.
Oh, you bet. Just up there about an hour north of
heck
here. Yeah. I fucking hated it. A lot. I hated it so much. I mean, like, you could either, like, do drugs or play volleyball, and so, you know, I was never really into sports, so I just left. I
hear that.
So, you know, I started taking piano lessons when I was, like, 4.
Oh, wow.
4-ish, and I mean, my parents just signed me up and then, you know, made me go for a lot of years. And then I went for a lot of years, you know, took a lot of years off. That whole like weekly disciplined music experience isn't exactly what because you know, I'm a music teacher now, and I don't really subscribe to that like make your kids practice every day thing. I don't think that's the best way to encourage a musician or good musicianship either.
Yeah, I found I only have one student, and I've learned a lot by teaching him. Just that my style is very loose and very caters a lot towards what he wants. And like what I see is exciting for him in music, and I just go with that.
Yeah, because like, I mean, you know, I teach now. I have quite a few students. I mean, you know, less than I did before COVID ended the world. But I don't know, my philosophy is that if you're excited about it, you'll do it. You'll find a way to do it. You'll ask the questions that give you the answers that enable you to do it. So I probably didn't hit that like part of my life, of my development as a musician until I was like 18 or 19, and I found out about Sublime, and I was like, well, I should play the guitar now.
Yeah. I got you know, has anybody at a party around a campfire heard this song, What I Got? I gotta go make sure everyone hears it. And I feel like that's still everyone's mission. Like,
yeah.
You hit 18, you hear Sublime's What I Got, you get an acoustic guitar, and you run to the nearest party and you play it as loud as you can.
Well, I don't have a penis, so that wasn't my experience.
Oh,
Never
man.
the guy at the party, but I mean, that wasn't
maybe
a dig.
that
it's a
just
different experience
very
for female
exclusive.
musicians.
Yeah, to just feel. I mean, like I exaggerate, but I feel like that has to be what's happening with the amount of times I hear that song. Like,
well, you know, yeah, it's like a very that or like Jack Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hate to make it gendered, but you know, kind of is like my experience was very different. It was much more like closeted and like very like I don't know. I wasn't very much like I'm gonna play out at a party.
Oh yeah.
It was more like I think I could do this probably, maybe. Let's find out on my own. I don't know, but
well, it seems like you can, you know, and you know, I mean, I've seen you play. So you started with piano, and then you played guitar, and I know you played drums too.
Somewhere in there, I learned the drums. I had just the elementary school band. I joined in because I played piano. I could play the drums, and then somewhere along the way I picked up bass.
Probably
yeah.
because there was some bass player that didn't show up. That's why I started playing bass.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like, we need a bass player. Who plays
we need
guitar?
a bass player, yeah. And then, I just learned how to play the ukulele like last year or something because I had a bunch of students that wanted to play it. And it just seemed practical, so did that.
Yeah, and it's so easy to carry around, and it's a great first instrument, especially first string instrument, I would say.
It's really accessible. You know?
And there's so many charts, simplified charts for songs, so you can like learn songs super quick, and I feel like it's really rewarding very quickly to learn the ukulele.
Yeah. The barrier for entry is lower, and like I don't know, I have a bunch of really young students that want to rock out on the guitar, but like they're just too small. The ukulele is just smaller. It works better.
Yeah, like literally, too small. And it's like, if you're playing a steel string acoustic guitar, pushing those strings all the way down to make it sound good is, not something that's possible for tiny hands and, young fingers. I found when I was a kid, I learned on a classical string guitar.
I did too. It's quite
I had to, otherwise it hurt too much and I couldn't do it. So when did you start playing professionally? And like, how do you play professionally?
I'm looking to start playing professionally sometime in the next decade or so.
Oh, I hear that.
I play very unprofessionally. I think I've gone through spurts of like where performing has been like my only, job or whatever. And then I took a couple years off and then got back into it like last May or so. I rejoined a couple of bands and got a job teaching, and now I just play music all day. It's really nice.
That's what's up. Yeah.
I prefer it. It can be really exhausting sometimes to freelance your way through life. So
yeah,
I always laugh
having
when
to charge.
I always laugh when I look at that question in our lineup because playing music professionally is such an objective question.
It's very, as long as you're getting paid for doing it.
Well, I mean, like what a lot of my friends consider playing professionally is not what a lot of fans that are watching my friends play consider playing professionally. You know what I mean? So it's very objective depending on where you're standing in the room and how often you're standing in that position, I think.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there are lots of people that I know that if you asked a fan of theirs if they were professional musicians, they'd be like, "Oh, definitely." But if you ask them, they'd say no. Like I definitely.
I work at Jimmy John's too.
Yeah, I bag groceries. Too.
Yeah,
it's like, and the only way I was able to do more.
I think a lot of people really think that even like locally, that like a lot of people, like if they see them like out playing gigs, like I think a lot of people are under the expectation that you're not doing much, and I don't think people realize how many of the musicians that they like watch and look up to and purchase music from and stuff that are working a 9 to 5 or 40 hours a week just like everyone else.
Oh yeah.
Well, because being a musician is really expensive too, so it's like you kind of have to be you just have to be so busy.
And all the money that I make as a musician, I just reinvest into my music business. So it's like, it's just this never-ending cycle. And the only way I was able to break out of having a normal job and work for myself was to then work for other bands and like book them and promote shows and like book shows and like, just take the business side of things and, do that too. Because it's essentially having a job. I just invented it myself. But anyway, quarantine. I know what you're up to at the beginning. Lots and lots of live stream cover challenge stuff. But what else have you been up to other than that since then? Since the big wave has sort of subsided for now.
Well, when the cover challenge thing started, it was like a really great, like and exciting. Like I'm going to learn 10 songs today and play them all for strangers on the internet. And then the group got a lot bigger, and I was like a little more like, it wasn't playing for 100 people; it was playing for like 30,000 people, and I was like, well, I'm gonna take a break and doing a lot of like hanging out, practicing, working on an album with my punk band Honey Dick. That's a good thing. I'm hoping to record some stuff soon. Just kind of working on like originals and whatnot.
Oh, that's good. And then did you go to any of the protests? Were you front line for any of that stuff last month?
Yeah. I was down at the 3rd precinct for like, 3-4 days in a row. Like, and then that culminated in them literally like burning down the fucking police station.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was like I just felt like I had to be there. Like, when am I ever going to see this in my lifetime? Like, this is huge. It's hugely civil rights movement. It's really important to contribute, and also like, fuck yeah, burn the cop shop, and I want to watch. Like, yeah. Yes, do that. So, and then I kind of took a break. Just being in crowds during this pandemic. I've got some family that I can't really bring germs to, so I've had to kind of isolate a little more aggressively. But yeah, it was a really important part of history to be a part of. So.
Yeah, no, I was so proud to see so many members of our music scene, and not only like the Minneapolis music scene, but like our specific weird little corner of of whatever it is we are in Minneapolis. Just seeing so many faces, out there. I mean, I personally wasn't there, but I was watching the many feeds. It was an amazing thing to witness, and then still to be a part of the things that continue to happen every day in this city that aren't being like made public on the news, but it's all very, very inspiring to see.
I think one thing that I think really was a rallying cry for our group in particular is that there's a lot of like individual causes within our larger group, gay rights, black rights, women's rights, but when things get bigger, I mean, I make this statement all the time, but we can't, as long as we're fighting for women's rights and gay rights and racial rights, we'll never have human rights. And I think when things erupt the way that they have recently, I think it's really easy to examine the things that you're in favor for and apply those to other groups and have some empathy and be able to see what other people are going through. So I think like that's really why our group in particular, because we're always standing up for things, in one facet or another. And this was, like Kat said, I felt the same way too. Like, this is a once in a lifetime, like, I mean, I hope that I'll never see anything like this again. But so I needed to be down there with a camera and documenting what I could, because
and I'm so glad that you were, because that's like the way I saw it vicariously somewhat through you.
Well, and that's part of it too, is like the mainstream media reported so much false information and talked about violence and like all this shit that just wasn't happening.
Well, especially the first couple of nights they weren't saying anything.
Well, I hate it when
was so wrong. Yeah,
the protesters are being blamed for all these horrible things that aren't even actually happening, and like, I don't know, I felt real compelled to like document what was happening from the perspective of someone who's not, biased towards some political, like, it's just documentation,
Yeah, exactly. And, and then the footage exists still, and it's impossible to disprove, because it's all, you can't edit live footage as it's being broadcast from your phone. You know what I mean? Like, you can't edit it. It's impossible. You can edit it later, maybe a little, it's like, but it's a true source of information, which is like, I don't feel like the news really enjoys that is a thing, but but it was crazy the amount of misinformation that was out there. When I was doing, I took a part in my neighborhood, like organizing it's just watching, just watching the behavior of the police and the behavior of suspicious people trying to burn things down, all of that, and it really, and there was so many things coming in that, like, they were obviously just false information used to confuse people that they know were watching and listening. So it was very, that whole experience was very eye-opening to like just how messed up the situation is. And it's on your block. So it's on my block. You know what I mean? Like, it's like just down. It's not over there. It's not in another country. It's not in a different state. It's not somewhere I'm not. It's where I am, and it's happening right now. And I think that was what changed me the most. Well, that was just the first wave of big changes, though. And last week we talked a little bit with Carnage about toxic masculinity in the music scene, and we wanted to continue the discussion this week on the topic of providing a safe space from predatory behavior in the music scene, both for fans and performers alike. And a big question we have is, what has been your perception of the music industry from this angle? Like, what's going wrong? What have you seen? New ideas that are promising, that are right? I don't know. Like, there's been so much even in this last week.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot as you know, femme identified, whatever, you know, cisgendered woman. Like, it's a lot because you know, I think it's one of those problems that I'm more just like pissed off because I thought everyone already knew that this was happening.
Right.
You know, I'm just amazed that anyone's surprised, because I thought that this was common knowledge, but it's just more kind of all of the women and, you know, non-binary, all the victims of men know about it already, and it's wild to me that, you know, but, you know, I went through, I've gone through in my life as I grow and learn more about other people's experiences. Like, as a white woman, there are facets of racism that I'll never understand, that I have to work to make myself aware of.
Agreed.
And, you know, that sentiment about it's not enough to be not racist, you have to be anti-racist. It applies for any one of these power imbalances.
Right. Like, it's not enough to not be a predator. You have to be anti-predator.
Right. Like,
you know?
cool, you're not a rapist, but you should also be stopping rapists.
Right.
Or, you know, like, it,
or
great
doing
that, you know.
Yeah, or creating places and, like, changing lifestyle and, like, you know, changing the way that you interact with people around you to ensure that, you know, if you create a space the way that we do as artists at a show, you know, like any show that we would have put on, like, that's like our space to create, you know, or a festival on a bigger sense, you know, and making sure that you have the mentality going in that, like, you know, there's no
malarkey.
Yeah, there's
bullshit.
no tolerance. There we go. There's no tolerance
yeah.
Zero tolerance. Like, you know, like we have removed people from our festival that we felt were a threat, you know, and without any question, you believe the women, and you just, you know, like, you don't let that shit slide, you know. And it's like, and I've heard, you know, so many allegations from people I know about NACO in the past, and I feel like there are people that have been going to Harmony Park, not exclusively Wookiee Foot events, that, you know, that have been very vocal about this over the years, every year. And then when it hit again this year, I was just thinking, like, oh, well, here's the yearly everybody shut this idea down, because
it's one of those, like, I've been telling you about this,
yeah,
and I'm amazed that anyone doesn't know about it.
Yeah, so that's about all I have to say about that too, is, like, you know, I can't believe a lot of people didn't know. You know, I've known about, you know, at least allegations. You know, I didn't know the full scope of it, you know, but like, when someone has a predatory pattern, no matter who it is in the world, like, you just have to assume there's more behind everyone, you know, like, it's a lifestyle.
Here's the one thing that I really want to say, at least on the topic as it applies to the music scene, that seems to really be getting lost, and I don't understand why, but I constantly hear, I don't want to say enablers, but I don't know what the right word is here.
That's probably the right word.
But I constantly hear people say, well, why has this person filed a police report? Have there been any charges? Okay, yeah. I want to be perfectly clear about this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a politician. I'm a music promoter. My job as a music promoter is to provide a safe space. So on that note, I don't care whether a person has had files charged against them, or if anyone has had a police report. If this person is making people in the crowd at my event feel unsafe, I'm not doing my job as a promoter. And I don't, like, I don't understand why people want to, like, marry these two industries. The music industry is not the legal industry. We're talking about creating safe space. We're not talking about convicting criminals. There's people who that is their job, and I'm not gonna convict criminals, but I want to provide a safe space. I think the important thing, and I'm sorry, I like don't want to go any longer, but I think the important thing to keep in mind is why do people go to live music events? The reason that they go there is to escape the everyday reality of life. And you don't want to get away from life to have to put up a different guard somewhere else, because that defeats the purpose of what you're doing.
Well, and you know, I could look up statistics. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I can tell you that a vast majority of women don't ever report, let alone press charges. I mean, we burned down that police station that had how many untested rape
over
incidents,
1,200.
probably.
Over
You
1,200.
know, and that spans probably, you know,
And that's just one
plus.
precinct. That's one police precinct.
And I don't know, you know, like, they weren't getting tested. Nobody was pursuing these, you know, problems. There isn't a solution. It has to be more proactive than retroactive. And I guess I have the perspective too, more of like a female artist who, you know, I was on the scene. I had a really good following. I was playing every weekend, and then I got assaulted at one of my own shows, and I stopped performing because I no longer felt safe. And so then I would say that, like, you know, I've never been really, like, I used to love going to concerts, but I don't really so much anymore. But I would say that, you know, your role as like promoters would be to then employ more female security staff, book more women on your stages, you know, put women in those places of power. I think would be probably the best proactive way to like avoid those problems. Like, you know, I guess I'm not
I would
an
say,
expert.
oh, I mean, that's a great point. And I can say that I'm thankful for our connection to Jess Seahorses and our Get Down, Galactic Get Down crew, because she's been an integral part, you know, and a partner from the very beginning. And she's been she's just spearheaded everything Galactic Get Down wise with making ourselves accountable for what happens at our event and making sure that we are, you know, being as proactive as possible and making people feel safe. I mean, I can say that I would love to take any credit for that, but I got to give it all to her, you know, like, and that's just if she hadn't been a part of our group, then I don't think that we would have behaved in such a progressive manner. So
right.
Like,
Well, and I love seeing female security staff. I love seeing female sound techs, you know, like people that,
Definitely.
and I mean, I've definitely looked at this before, because I used to, you know, be a talent buyer too, and I just, that is a whole different shade of toxic masculinity, and it's real easy to get a little sick of it. But
yeah,
you know, I mean, what, less than like 10 or 15% of acts at any major festival are female or, you know, non-binary or non-cis male. So it's a real, I mean, there's a big step up before we're at 50-50. And
absolutely.
You know, that's really important. Like, the reason, I think one of the biggest reasons that women are made to feel, or women are, I don't know what's the word, preyed upon, is because we are often in those positions of power. Even at my own show, I was the only woman on the bill. So the man was still in the position of power because I was like a misnomer. I was an anomaly, you know, it wasn't like a thing. So giving women a platform and then deplatforming the people who we've heard about being problematic is really, I think, the best way to send a message that women are not, I don't know, not to be fucked with. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. I feel like that's something that I personally, you know, it's like, it can't, you know, like it's like the search and the hunt and finding people.
It's hard.
Is tough, but like the idea, but the mentality behind it is not. You know, like the fact that this might take a little while to like get it to my newly held standards. You know, even as of this week. You know what I mean? Like it's constantly learning and progressing. Yeah, but I think the intention is there and the will is there, and you know, hopefully people will see it more and more every year until it is the reality that we want to see. And like my biggest point that I've made on a post earlier today was that we're going to do our best and do all the work we can right now. But at the same time, it's all about teaching young children of all kinds that they, in the music industry, they can have any job, you know, like, you know, girls don't just have to play violin, you know what I mean? Like girls can play whatever and be at any position possible in the music industry. And that's what we need to teach from the jump. And that's like what I think is going to finally maybe balance things out a little bit.
What kind of gets me is there's this barrier for entry, and we kind of touched on it earlier, talking about the guy at the guitar with, or the guy at the party with the guitar. I mean, that was never a girl.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, not, and then, you know, I was even telling that
one.
story and putting myself in there, and then like I didn't even realize that. Yeah, that's
there's never
totally
a girl.
That's not.
And I mean, you know, women make 75 cents on the dollar, and black women make even less. And gear is prohibitively expensive. Lessons are prohibitively expensive. And putting yourself out there at the risk of being a victim is a huge task. And so I guess, making the barrier for entry, I wouldn't say lower, but, taking steps towards equity is...
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that looks like, but...
And I think it's just going to be little moments that we have to pay attention to, like even like just what seem like simple choices, and really evaluating those choices before making them. Like when it comes, like I might not think about who my sound tech is, or like I might go to a venue and not really care. Like I don't but at the same time, now that we're talking about it, it's like I don't see a lot of female sound technicians, and I'm sure that they exist.
Well, and raising your own awareness too, because when I go to a venue, I notice right away if there's a female security, if there's a female sound tech or a light designer, whatever, because then I automatically feel safer. I feel like I'm going to be heard and understood and not condescended about my own gear. Like literally any female musician you talk to, I don't want to speak for everyone, but 9 out of 10, I'd imagine, can tell you a story about a sound tech dude telling them how their own gear works. Like that's just our
I've seen it
experience.
firsthand with the women in my bands. I've
a lot.
And it's a weird moment too, because like
I know my shit better than
it's like it's like I'm really lucky to have been in bands with very very, they're not women who stood up for themselves very well, very quickly, very easily, and all I had to do was back them up. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like if this were like a more insecure or introverted woman on stage that doesn't have that sort of attitude, like I feel like just even having this conversation, I'd probably be more willing to make it known that this can't behave that way.
And I think too, there's a big difference too between I was a solo act and also existing in hip-hop, so like a lone female at a hip-hop show, and like sometimes being literally the only woman. And I don't want to make this super genre specific, but just I think being a solo woman in any space is a little bit more death-defying than and like it's difficult to, whereas a lot of men can go out and like sing for their supper and just play a guitar in the background and no one like fucks with them. But
generally, and if I did get fucked with that much at shows, I'm extremely sensitive to shit like that. Like I would not go back and play that place. I would not. It would make me reconsider my entire career. Yeah, and I love hip hop so much, but I think part of it is that it's such a competitive genre that there's a lot of rap battles, and there's a lot of I'm better than you kind of like whatever. There's a lot of competition in the music.
Yeah, and that's, I like that. I'm a competitive person, and I don't mind that, but it's difficult to literally be the only woman in the room halfway across the country and try to like hold your own. It's a kind of a big difference, I think, than being in a band. I've started playing out again recently, but only like with 5 other people.
Right.
Yeah,
and I mean, even in like not so small towns, I've played shows with Olivia Quintanilla, Carrie Joy, playing with Smokin Joe or Iron Star, whatever we're doing, and then like just the most cliche shit will happen that you think is outdated behavior, but it's absolutely not. And calling it out when it happens it's like so like at the bar, the bartender's like, so which one are you dating? I'm like, my wife's at my house at home. Like these are my bandmates and I respect them a lot. Like it's just insane. Like it's like, don't talk to the women I'm with about that. Or
the
last
time we played at Mayslax, it's like 4 out of 5 of us are women. So the last time we played at Mayslax, the security guy came down to the green room and was like, you can't just come down here. And we were like, well, sir. It's just, there's this like, I don't know, assumption that, anyways. It's
like women are not a plus one. Women are not a man's plus one.
Right.
It's like that's not, and the sooner that everyone figures that out, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I would love to see more. Like, I mean, there already is some, but I'd love to see even more. No Joe's Allowed women's like production groups. They're like, artist collectives that I could tap into as a promoter and be like, okay, I want to have a more, equitable lineup, but I need to know who to book and how to do this. Like,
Right.
is there a group of women I can get like 4 or 5 bands from, as opposed to just, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to see more of that creation, or if it exists, just like link me to it.
Yeah, I think, a big part of that too is we've got like the wage gap working against
Yeah.
us. So an all-female production company isn't going to get as far as an all-male production company just because we're only going to be 75% is liquid, you know? I mean, and that's not all the time always. That's...
No, but I mean, that's a good reason why I don't see it as much.
No, and that brings up another topic too, because Joe and I often have these conversations when we're building a lineup. But like, what I would say for 2 white guys, we're pretty conscious about, especially feminine energy, about trying to draw from that. And like the conversation that we have a lot is like, is it when we're trying to create more feminine energy, is it better to have a situation where you have like a female front woman with like a male band, or is it a male front man with a female band? Because you know, a lot of times you can have a situation where like just by putting a man in the lead of a band, it doesn't feel like a feminine band, but when you step back for a minute, you look and you're like, oh wow, that band is, you know, half or sometimes more than half female.
You know what it is? It's just
other times, just the
representation,
opposite.
you know?
Yeah.
I think it's just representation, and it doesn't hurt to have it from all directions. I don't know, because I mean, I hate like the whole girl band thing. So like,
and that's
until
kind of
we're
what I
equal,
was saying too. You know,
not,
like you don't want to go look for those cliche
Yeah,
bands.
you don't.
Just to
The
fit
last
a-
thing we want to
It's
do
not
is
a girl
tokenize.
band.
We don't want
Right.
to tokenize anyone. We don't want anyone to feel like, okay, now we can just notch this off. We have this kind of
Well-
band and that kind. Like, I want to believe in the artists. I want to be behind their music. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
there's power in numbers too. Like I mean, I can't tell you how many times as like a solo female hip hop artist, it was like I'd get booked because they needed a girl,
yeah.
and like being the only woman on a bill with like, you know, 6 other acts or whatever it is. Obviously that percentage is skewed, but like, you know, I'd say having like a full female backing band and, you know, maybe a female fronted, like looking at like the actual ratio, like for literal like safety reasons is, you know, there's power in numbers is at least what I have learned from my experience. Others might feel differently, but
For sure. And I feel like if we did if the progression continues and everyone's awareness increases, you know, that if, you know, it wouldn't matter so much if there were, you know, a woman backed by men or, you know, a man backed by women, if there were just more women represented in the industry, period.
right.
You know, like if like, you know,
The
like
same amount of women on stage. I guess it doesn't really matter the role or whatever.
right,
you know?
exactly. Yeah. Just making sure to, yeah, it's because it's not about equality. I mean, obviously equality is a weird idea. It's about equity. It's about making, you know, just having the same opportunities and same payout. Like, you know, like, I
Because
mean,
maybe there's a girl in the crowd that wants to play bass and didn't know she could until she saw this. You know,
Exactly.
like it really, like it's, you know.
that's one of my favorite parts I found as an adult playing with women going out and like seeing, especially where kids, like Smokin Joe played lots of kids friendly events, and like seeing little girls look at Olivia playing cello like a badass,
Like, wow,
you know,
that's cool.
and being
I
like,
should do that.
I've never seen a woman play like that, like, you know, in front, like taking control. It's like just shredding so well, you know. It's like watching faces light up and like, you know, inspiring kids to realize they can do that. Like that's it's cool to me. All right, I talk a lot.
No, it's good. And that's who, you know, as a teacher, I have a lot of young female students. And they're all, you know, aspiring little musicians. And I feel great that I can, you know, show them what they need to know and like be a role model. But I'm also fucking terrified that this culture is going to exist in 10 years,
Yeah.
in 20 years, when these little babies are out there in the world on their own getting roofied by douchebags or whatever it is.
At bars
you know?
that I in my youth like just enjoyed because no one was trying to fuck with me. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's so hard to see. I mean, like as I get older and more aware, like it's easy to see what I didn't see before, but it's also hard to see what you're
You
not
have to make
experiencing.
yourself aware of it.
And you have to communicate
know?
with people that aren't like you. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
have to get out of your comfort zone and like interact and try to
Yeah.
understand other points of view, you know? It's
Yeah, because
tough.
I mean, the male experience is already so shared, and that's what we see when we see a primarily male Bill or, you know, frontman and whatever lead singer is throughout history, right? There's a lot of that. Like, we already kind of have that perspective really beaten into us.
Yeah.
Leading man, supporting female, like that's like the kind of narrative, right, that we get from movies and television and children's programs that have, I mean, I think I remember reading a statistic that was like less than 10% of main characters in children's programs are women, are girls.
That's
you know,
crazy.
it's just
I mean,
like,
you're probably right, but I mean, like, you
it's
know,
nuts.
numbers are numbers, but that seems crazy. You know, like,
It's insane. That's just the world that we live in, and as you know,
well, let's
people
change
that
the
have a
world.
platform
Damn it.
to like change a small part of the world, at least a little corner of it, to make it
Yeah,
better
I would-
for some people.
If any kids are lucky enough to be in a room with the three of us, they'll all be supported with what they want to do musically.
Well, now we'll
That's-
make a children's show. It'll be great.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll back you up. I'll support you. You do it, and I'll come on and do like a funny male segment or something.
Yeah, we'll get Teddy Spaghetti on here.
Oh, he's watching. He's watching.
Oh, hey
He's
there,
called him out.
Teddy
Hi, Ted. But yeah, so I really appreciate you sharing your views, you know, and these conversations, just like my conversation last week, just after talking for like, you know, 20 minutes, whatever, I'm already thinking about things a little bit differently than I was, you know. Not that anything, I don't feel like I've been ultimately terrible, but learning is so important to me, and
Right.
being
The
vulnerable in
security-
front of
The
being
security
vulnerable in front of
point-
my fan base, I think has value too.
The
Like-
security point is really good, because I think like anytime that we're talking about security, like my mind snaps into this like, get a bunch of big burly dudes so they can handle anything.
No.
But
You know
like
what?
I've never thought about the fact that like in a sexual predatory situation, the last thing that a woman wants to do is run to a 7-foot
Well,
hairy
But
beer
besides
belly
that, though,
dude,
you know, Joe, you were just talking about being totally oblivious to these things that women
Yeah.
are just inherently aware of because we have to be. So by having women out there looking out for things, it's like we already know, and maybe we don't know how to put it into words and can't train a bunch of big burly meatheads. But I love meatheads. Don't get me wrong.
Hey,
But you know, having women that actually have firsthand experience with this rather than
well, and no
like
offense
you
to
s-
men,
you
but
know.
you're probably watching each other a little better than
looking out for fights.
you know, watching for those subtle undertone cues that we're not catching on to.
right?
Absolutely, that's
I
a big
think
thing.
Women are going to be watching out for. I don't know. I think it's just something we already do, and if you give a woman a walkie-talkie, she'll be able to help you do it too. You know,
I can proudly say we have lots of women on our walkie-talkies.
it's really good.
It's good. I mean, and it, you know, and to, yeah, it's from the beginning of our you know group, you know. So I'm proud of that, you know, and as ignorant as I can be sometimes, I think if anything, I'm just lost in the wonder and magical bubble I've created around myself, and I have to see past it. You know, I have to burst it every once. There's nothing wrong. Like, I create wonderful things in my fun psychedelic bubble, but like, also there's a real world with real problems that I can speak on.
Right.
You know.
Well, and you know, I mean, I'm a white girl, and I live in my own little bubble.
Yeah. Bubbles are
Slightly
real.
smaller than your white male bubble, but it's still bigger than the bubbles a lot of people get.
I do love space.
You know, so we all have a lot to learn, and
Yeah.
just being open to learning and gaining information and growing from it is really all that we can do.
Yeah, and I mean, music is gonna bring us together in order to do that. So like, that's the power of the music, man. That's just like what I've always believed. Like, you know, without music, I wouldn't be able to have this conversation. I wouldn't be able to like talk to the people in a talk show format.
It's a great unifier, you know.
Yeah. Because believe it or not, you know, pretty much any human can play music just as well as any human, given enough talent and preparation. Mm-hmm.
And even if you suck at music, I mean, maybe I just like you. Maybe I
Yeah,
like your
somebody might like
personality.
it.
It doesn't
Dude,
matter.
There's so many
I'm
things that
terrible.
people
It doesn't
love that
matter.
sucks. Like, you know, whatever. It's just my I don't like anything. My musical taste is so specific. It's like, I appreciate so much, but like also what I listen to by myself at home.
ICP. Is that it?
Yeah.
So you're coming out of the ICP box?
You know, if I were going to come out of the ICP closet, I would have already, whoop whoop, but I I honestly, I didn't. It was a little angry for me. I was just such a peaceful young person, you know. Like I was like rather listen to Paul Simon and than ICP.
Yeah.
But speaking of music, do you want to play any music? I mean, we can keep talking about this all day.
Sure. I'll play some.
But
I mean,
I feel like
it's getting a little late.
Oh yeah, no, we've been with these hot topics these last few weeks. Like, I mean, I just kind of plan on going.
I told you this would be an easy one, Kat.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to say, and I hate to speak as though I'm like some expert on it. I just know that my experience being a woman really fucked with me as a musician. It really got in the way of having a safe environment. And I think that should be, maybe the first step would be, safety. Look at your security and see how you can make it more female. Make sure that you're doing trainings to look out for roofiers or whatever, like that kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I am totally into it, and I love the perspective. Like, none of us are really experts. Nobody really knows what to do right now. Like, I feel like some people have had more practice than others, but
just when I was really out there going for it and touring, it's like I knew that I'd be really happy when there were other women on the bill and when there was a woman working security. Like, that was always like a big tell that the place was fine and I could relax. But it's just me. What do I know?
You know some things.
Yes.
I know some stuff about things.
Nice. What kind of guitar is that?
It's a Telly.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's a custom Telly. It's orange.
The headstock's all skinny.
Bought it.
Orange is the best color.
Thanks. Aren't you glad? I don't have the rest of that sentence.
Your guitar is orange banana?
Aren't you glad? Okay, can you hear me? I've been drinking White Claw out of my mug this whole time, so I'll just get what you get.
That's okay. You're not the first person to drink on the Smokin Joe Show.
You get what you get.
I think you're like the 18th, probably.
18th.
Maybe, I don't know.
93 shows. Got some highbrow.
Maybe everybody just sneaks it because I'm once again just in
Even
my
if
bubble.
there were only 18, some of our bluegrass bands have made up for the rest of them, so it's okay.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. Some people just drink straight liquor out of the bottle, so whatever you want to do is cool.
Not quite. Not there. I'm not there yet. It's 8:20. Okay. So yeah, I'll play a song. I wrote it.
Please.
With my hands. And it's a Honey Dick song. Honey Dick is my punk band, the punk band that I am in, with Josh Kierden Wanger and Rob Hagan on drums. And we're coming out with our debut EP. It's called Hot Singles in Your Area. And that'll be out eventually.
I like that. That's clever.
Thank you. We haven't really recorded any of it yet, and that's not trademarked, so please don't take it.
Oh no. Well, I got enough ideas. You can keep your ideas, but I love the double entendre, and it's not about space, so it's not going to serve me at all.
Yeah, no, it doesn't serve you. Okay, so I'm gonna try to remember the words. It's called Go. I can't tell you how we met. It's nothing new, I just forget. It's stuck mental fucked in my head. But that sounds like something I said on Twitter now. Dripping wet, giving out, getting head. Too impatient when you're friends in this conversation. Know what I get? You can call me cynical. I'll just call you naive. You've always been so fucking political. I never was that clean cause I got rocks out in my pockets. I got tricks stuck on my sleeve. Really wish you'd take me literal. I say you can't leave and you should know. Why don't you? flirt me. Need to say what you say, you need to say. I can see it on your face, but I'll take off now just in case. You can call me cynical, I'll just call you naive. You've always been so fucking critical. Another word for mean, so I got rocks down in my pockets. I got tricks stuck on my sleeves. I really wish you'd take me literal. When I say you can't leave me, you should go. I know you. Wrote that for you.
Nice. I love that.
For all of you.
Every song's written for and about me and what I'm doing in my life. Everybody knows that.
You, the royal you.
Yeah. It's like I always say that about when an artist releases music. It's like when you release music on a national distribution level on the internet or whatever, like you're just giving the song to other people to create their memories with it. Like you don't get to decide.
It's yours.
Yeah, it's like that. I know what it's about, but it doesn't matter anymore. There you go.
It's not about anything. That's the real secret.
Some of the best songs aren't about anything. Get Down on It by Dead Larry.
Get down on it.
It's the meaning is very obscure. It's mostly a bunch of fun sounding words together.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I mean, how do you think they wrote Banana Phone? You know?
Probably had a banana phone and just went with the groove.
Yeah, dig it.
Banana phone or Baby Shark. I heard a remix of that earlier coming out of a car.
Damn, that sucked. I was a preschool teacher for a while. I took a couple years off music and I was a preschool teacher, and that shit was banging. I love that song.
It's like billions of views on YouTube. Billions.
It's a 1 minute and 12 seconds long, and there's 5 words in it. It's basically Lil Jon for toddlers.
Yep.
You know? Really good.
It's a jam. That is true. It is a jam.
It's a bop.
It's lit. It slaps.
It's
as the
damn.
kids say these days. Well, unless you want to play more music, then you can do another song if you want, but you're no pressure.
Yeah, I could try.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
try one more, and then we'll say goodnight to all these lovely folks and tell them what we're doing.
Could you say one more song?
Okay,
but like really calmly, like one more song.
One more song.
One
more song. One more song. One more song.
Try to sound as much like the GPS voice as possible. One more.
My
song.
GPS is an Australian woman.
Okay, so do that.
Oh man. One more. What? No, I can do British woman. I can do old British woman from the 70s Monty Python. Like, one more song. One more. One more from the telly. The internet telly.
This is a song I wrote about your stepdad.
The royal you.
Exactly. The royal stepdad.
Sir stepdad. Oh, we got some one more songs finally chanting in the chat.
Oh, do
so
we?
they're a little behind,
that's
but
great.
that's okay. They know it. We know it. It's
They're
fine.
doing their best.
Okay. Dude, they are. I love them.
They're doing such a good job.
Good job, chat fans. We love you.
Okay, I'm gonna do a thing here, and this is about you. Please tell me we have some more. I just found the chat.
More.
More. More.
He's never heard a kid ask for more. Like those are some downtrodden kids if they never ask for anything. Jeez.
They were orphans, isn't that?
Yeah, I suppose that's about as downtrodden as you get. But they had a orphan fame. I was in an Oliver production, and
okay.
I know it way too well. They
right.
sing though. They're happy enough to sing.
I'm doing it. Song is about stepdads.
Yep.
About my stepdad. I want to have a stepdad. Do you guys still like me? Okay.
Oh, we love you.
you're full of shit, so pretty. Pretty sure I gotta quit. I'm pretty sure I gotta quit. I'm pretty sure I gotta quit. So pretty. Pretty sure I gotta quit. So pretty sure you're full of shit. You're pretty when you suck my dick, so pretty. You ain't never did nothing for me. Well, not mentally. That don't make you boring. Take me to bed now. I hate talking, snoring. Baby, we can do this all night till the morning. Till the morning. Cause you're pretty when you suck my dick, you're pretty when you suck my dick, you're pretty when you suck my dick, so pretty. Pretty sure you're full of shit, I'm pretty sure you're full of shit, I'm pretty sure you're full of shit, so pretty. Pretty sure I gotta quit, I'm pretty sure I gotta quit, I'm pretty sure I gotta quit, so pretty. Pretty sure I gotta quit, so pretty sure you're full of shit, you're pretty when you suck my dick, so pretty. I hate to break to you, I'm not your therapist. I have to say to you, I do not care if I'm coming on strong. If it sounds like I'm arrogant, it's 'cause I am. And you're pretty when you suck my dick, you're pretty when you suck my dick, you're pretty when you suck my dick, so pretty. Pretty sure you're full of shit, I'm pretty sure you're full of shit, I'm pretty sure you're full of shit, so pretty. Pretty sure I gotta quit, I'm pretty sure I gotta quit, I'm pretty sure I gotta quit, so pretty. Pretty sure I gotta quit, I'm pretty sure you're full of shit, you're pretty when you suck my dick, so pretty.
Woo! That was punk as heck. That was some punk rock shit right
It
there.
was about my stepdad. I don't have a stepdad. I'm sorry. I'll stop making that joke.
Somebody out there relates to you.
Oh, God. See, that's why I have to stop making that joke.
Like, exactly. I've been trying to find the words.
You know what?
That's awesome, though. I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us and enlightening us and entertaining us as well.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for, I had a great time. It was a good game. I want to thank God.
And just like just hope that the wrath of all birds doesn't come on you now. Like you've made a very public statement about your feelings about birds, and I'm gonna tell all the birds I know.
Fuck birds. They're not even real. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, we'll see.
I did leave a link in the comments for the Birds Aren't Real group, so
okay.
Make sure that you check it out.
If you see a bird, tell it I said fuck off.
Yeah, well, I mean, how are birds supposed to fly around a flat Earth anyway? You know.
How do you do that? The weird UFO noise. Anyways.
Yep, all those bird noises are just like the old guys that make bird noises recorded. You know, like that's why they're so good at
fetish.
it.
That's
Actually, you hate birds but love bird noises made by old guys.
Old men, yeah.
Oh, I'll write that note.
Great.
For when I'm an old guy, I'll make sure to make bird noises.
Put it in my obituary. Okay.
Next week we have Mrs. Pinky and the Great Fox is going to be coming on. I'm very excited to have them on. So there's so many wonderful individuals in that band, and getting them all together is just a treat. And I want to say thank you so much, Cat Fox, Double Animal, for you and for your wondrous backgrounds. I want to say those cats were kind of like, you know, singing along with you.
I'm doing what I can.
Appreciate that.
With what I was giving and the resources I have available to me.
What more can you do, really?
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, thanks again, John. Any final words of wisdom for these lovely internet folks?
I guess I would just say that There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, and it's important not to just think about it, but also to talk about it, and even more importantly, listen to others.
Yeah. And if you feel like action needs to be taken by someone, maybe think about that someone being you. Just throwing that out there.
Only you.
Oh, I should have. Oh man, next week I'm gonna wear this shirt that my sister got me. It says, "If not you, who?" and it has Smokey the Bear on it.
Ooh.
And that's one of my fetishes. It's definitely Smokey the Bear.
Sounds like a Rage Against the Machine shirt.
Yeah, it's like Rage Against the Forest Fires. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in this week. We'll be back next week with Mrs. Pinky the Great Fox. Thanks again to Cat Fox and John Marin and all of you lovely folks for making this possible. I'm Smokin Joe, and I will play us out.
Because I'm with you through thick and thin, whatever trouble you are in. I don't care whatever you do, just know that I love you. Oh, whoa. Oh, I love you. You know, sometimes you got troubles, so many troubles, they're getting you down. But you don't have to worry about your troubles no more, 'cause well, I'll always be around, because I'm with you through thick and thin, whatever trouble you are in. I don't care whatever you do, just know that I love you. Oh, whoa. I love you.